HarperCollins presents The Deathly Grimm by Kathryn Purdie, read by Sarah Ovens. Prologue. Before the Curse. The first snowfall of the season was a dangerous time for a 10-year-old girl to sleepwalk in the Forest Grimm. To her grandmother's knowledge, this was the only occasion Clara had ever walked while asleep. If it had been a habit, Marlena Thurn might have bolted the front door of their cottage shut, or sent Clara to bed wearing a fur mantle, sheepskin boots, and woolen stockings. As it was, the wisp of a girl was bare-legged, with only the linen of her nightgown to protect her from the bitter cold. Clara had fallen asleep curled up on a fleece in front of the kitchen hearth, and she looked so warm and contented that Marlena hadn't wanted to disturb her. The old woman had nodded off herself, her head tucked against a wing of an armchair mere inches away. Clara's mother and father were dozing in another room, so when the snow swirled inside past the open door and tapped Marlena's shoulder with its frosty fingers, only she had awakened to find Clara missing. Marlena searched the cottage to see if the child might be elsewhere, and when she wasn't, she grabbed a shawl from a peg, shoved her feet into slippers, and raced outside. She didn't dare wake anyone else. The grim wolf had been prowling around these parts, and Marlena had a careful relationship with the creature. Once a year, the old woman allowed the wolf to snatch one of her lambs for a meal, a sad loss for the family, but Marlena considered the beast's feelings as well, and it must have been hard for a predator to be bonded to a shepherdess. It was only fair that the wolf reap some of the benefits, especially since Marlena had the ability to slip into its skin and possess its body at will. Marlena considered doing so now. Would she be able to find Clara faster? But what if Clara's father or their farmhand did awaken and bring weapons? If anyone killed the wolf, they would also unwittingly kill Marlena. She had a better chance of protecting Clara and the wolf as a woman. No one knew about the bond Marlena shared with the animal that sealed their fates together. It was safer that way. When Marlena's family of Anivoyants had been massacred in a foreign land, she'd learned an unforgettable lesson. Most people feared magic, especially when it presented itself as seers who wore the skins of wolves. Alone, she'd escaped to Grimm's Hollow, and all she claimed to be now was a simple fortune-teller. Following her granddaughter's footprints in the snow, Marlena dashed past the herb garden, the north sheep pasture, the woven fence, the hedgerow and, beyond it, the frozen stream that divided her farmland from the Forest Grimm. Her heart thumped when she spied large canine paw prints that merged with Clara's tracks. She hastened, willing the wolf not to harm her only grandchild, but no amount of inward pleading could penetrate the wolf's mind. Marlena's bond didn't include that ability. At last, Marlena clapped eyes on Clara. 20 feet away, the child stood in a moonlit clearing beside a lone aspen with only 6 golden leaves clinging to its branches. If only there had been 7, they would have made a lucky number. Clara's expression was distant, her gaze unfocused, her mind lost in a dream. Perhaps a nightmare. For that's how this moment felt to Marlena, because looming a few feet to Clara's left, opposite the skeletal aspen, stood the grim wolf. The girl and the beast looked eerily disproportionate, Clara being smaller than other children her age, and the wolf twice as large as common breeds. The old woman froze, as transfixed as Clara, unsure what to do. The grim wolf stared down at the girl, and while it didn't bare its fangs, the tip of its tail elevated slightly, indicating its uncertainty about the child. Perhaps it was trying to determine if she was a threat or a tasty midnight snack. What must have confused the wolf most was the fleece Clara was holding, the same fleece she'd lain on by the hearth. It gave her all the more appearance of an offering come willingly from the Thurn sheep farm. Marlena strained to breathe. She couldn't stop thinking about 2 fortune-telling cards she'd drawn over and over.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?